Staring at herself in the mirror on the restroom door. Voices in her head that mirror what she's heard before.
Hey beautiful people, it's your girl Shakima. I am back again, y'all. I was actually about to do the weekly astrology forecast, but I actually cannot wait to do Porsha Williams' solar return reading for, when I do just the general celebrity solar return readings. I feel like Cancer season is effectively here, and we've got a lot sort of like taking place for Porsha, with Saturn sort of like retrograde in Aquarius. We've got Jupiter now effectively in retrograde in Pisces just before her birthday. On the day of her birthday, Mercury goes direct in Gemini in its home sign. So we really want to see what's going on for Porsha. Do you know what? I was going to do the video, but I was so intrigued to see how this reading is going to unfold. It's not resonating with me, y'all. I'm just like, okay, cool. Let's get on to the juicy stuff. Let's get on to this, because I actually like reading, just to be able to kind of look and see what's going on beneath the surface, checking in, lifting the floorboards a bit, because we have a tendency to kind of give this perception out there. And it was interesting because even before I came into the space, before I get into all of this awesomeness, guys, and digress as I do, because I talk a lot, BTW, I hope you guys are having an awesome day today. If you're not having such a great day, do just let it dissipate, or try your best to at least try to navigate through it. It's Porsha Williams' birthday today, for heaven's sake, and she's been out here in these streets causing a big storm, to say the least. So we want to see what's actually taking place for her. It's funny because I haven't done, now this is what I was about to say to y'all. Before I get into it, be sure to definitely give this video a thumbs up if you can bear to sit in there and hang out with me for as long as it's going to take me to unfold all of this tea for Porsha Williams' next transit for the next 365 days of her life. Yeah, give me a thumbs up if you like my vibe and you want to be a part of the tribe. Subscribe, y'all. I'd love to have you join the tribe, And be sure to hit the notification bell. That way you can be kept in the know of when I do upload these awesome videos for you. And comment down below and let me know what you think of how the shit show shall unfold. Okay, because that's what I'm here for. I got all dressed up, okay? I got the hair out. I've got, the whole ambiance set, because I felt like I wanted to be ready for Porsha's solar return transit. And coming into this space, we already know that her significant other, Simon or Lyman, depending on where you're looking on the internet, we get to be able to kind of see how he does it for her, okay? Wherever he's going to find the money from, wherever he's going to find the extravaganza of an experience from, even though Fallon only got, a little party that her and her assistant had to put together. But hey, I mean, we'll see what Porsha gets for the birthday. I'm sure birthdays are a whole lot more exciting in Simon's world. So on that note, I have been inspired to bring back celebrity solar return readings. Dun, dun, dun. Do you know why? When I did Will Smith's reading, that was really quite interesting, because even whilst I was all up in his business, I was thinking, oh my God, I felt like I was invading his timeline a little bit, just kind of peeking in with my third eye. But after actually seeing how 2020 unraveled for the Smith family, and my reading in terms of the timing correlated so well, I want to do the same for Porsha, because I'm sure that it's going to be an explosive transit for her. Now, this is interesting, y'all, because on, I think, Google, it says that Porsha's birthday is the 22nd of June, 1989. Now, Porsha's claiming to be 39 this year, but if you do the math, Porsha's about to be 40. So it's definitely going to be an interesting transit for her. And if she's already starting it off with the veil of pretending that it is actually a completely different experience, guys, the universe is really not catering too well to the inauthenticity. There's only so long that people are being able to live in denial for. Like, their denial cards are being rejected and denied at this point, guys. So we want to dive into it and see what's actually taking place for Porsha. So we're going to have a little look and see overall what's going to be going on for her. Then we're going to take it down low, guys. We're going to take it down low and go deep into the ish and see her monthly scope for the next 12 months so that we can kind of like map the journey and see how my guides sort of like prophesy her transit. Okay, so this is going to be interesting, guys. I'm super excited. I felt like this when I was about to do Will Smith's reading, and I was like, let me in so I can see the tea. And then when I finished, I felt like my third eye, I kind of wanted to do this because I felt like I saw too much. And after I left, I was like, oh my God, I want to see how that unfolds. And then 2020 happened, the whole situation surrounding entanglements took place. So yeah, we're gonna go and chop it up and dive in to Porsha's transit nonetheless. Sorry guys, I know I talk a lot, but I'm just super excited. Okay, so thank you guys for hanging in there with me. We're gonna kick it off, guys. I was already sort of like in the space earlier preparing myself for this reading, so there was a lot of things that were sort of like coming through in terms of her self-realizations. It's going to be a forceful year of realizations for Porsha, because she is selective on what it is that she chooses to evolve in. So she's going to have a rude awakening this year. But outside of that, outside of the gossip between myself and my guide, let's see what the tarot has to say. I've got 2 decks here, so we're going to dive into all of the awesomeness. Let's see, guys. What do you see unfolding for Porsha during this solar return transit? Okay. She's definitely going to be having tower moments. Wow. She's definitely going to be having tower moments. And one of the things about tower moments is that they throw you out of your comfort zone. You know, they throw you out of the place where you feel like you once called home, the place where you once felt comfortable, the place where you once felt as though you were in charge of things. And interestingly enough, it seems as though a part of the throwing her off the tower is going to see that she's putting herself in a position where she's taking on too much, and she may be avoiding responsibility. So again, we know that she's already taken on too much in terms of like the dynamics that she's already playing out, but the first thing that came to mind for me was the children and the dynamic, really just kind of like avoiding responsibility in terms of parental roles, or however the traditional identity of a parental role sort of like looks like to people. I feel like that's definitely going to be something that they're going to be discussing a lot, guys. Like even then, there's going to be a lot of stormy conversations around Porsha basically carrying herself a certain type of way, right? Being like this mum sort of like figure. It's going to be interesting, guys. They're going to have a few fights about that particular situation. So let's go ahead and dive into it. We've got some 4 of Cups energy sort of going on for Porsha. So she's definitely meditating and really contemplating on just reevaluating some of the decisions that she's made. Reevaluating how resourceful she is, how much power she has in the situation. Where her confidence may have led her astray. Now, confidence is nice, y'all, but egotism is a whole other can of karma. Okay, karma does not play nice with egos. So she's definitely going to find herself restricted in some of the karma that she's creating for herself mentally. It's going to be quite tragic, I guess. 8 of Swords energy. Wow, there's a lot of restrictions that she's going to be. I wonder when they're sort of like planning the wedding, because that may be the self-imposed restriction, you know, her kind of like trying to chase the bag to get with this guy, then getting into the situation, realizing that he's not really who he says he is, and you were actually just dealing with the representative. Okay, that part. Really having to be able to kind of like sit around this person and stomach them. Sometimes that's what I'm hearing. Like she's gonna have difficulties like even stomaching him at some point of the situation. So it's going to be interesting, guys. Let's have a look. Where is Porsha during her next solar return transit? So for the next 365 days. What is her position in life? Okay, interesting, guys. She's going through major arcana. A couple of major sort of transits here. So, interesting. So, we've got, let me show you guys what we've got here for Porsha. We've got the Star card. We've got the Page of Pentacles. Nice. And we've got the Hermit card. These are all upright as well. So, interesting times and interesting situation. So, what I can see is that the position that she's in is that she's really quite hopeful. You know, she's going through this renewal financially. She's going through a financial renewal as well as a spiritual renewal. So there's more being poured into her cup. So there's, as much as we want to sit and we want to talk about the dynamics between her and Dennis, bear with me, guys. Right, there we go. So as much as we want to talk about the situation between her and Simon, and how she may potentially be using him for money and he may be potentially using her for fame, I actually see it as a business transaction. I feel like they are at a mutual understanding. He knows that she wants a certain lifestyle. He is willing to provide that lifestyle. He's willing to compensate for that lifestyle, provided that she's able to help him get on certain ladders. And I think that that's a very good transaction to have, because, and hear me out, guys, before you guys start going at me, I don't condone the situation at all. Personal feelings on the situation is irrelevant, because the reality is it is occurring. So I'm trying to pretty much just kind of like give you guys a scope of how this may be serving a better purpose for them both, not just the negative aspect of the situation. So hold off before y'all get all crazy. But literally, this new financial opportunity that they've got sort of going on, there's a lot of inspiration for Porsha as well, because she wants to, in the next phase of her life, she wants to be able to present herself in a certain way as well. And he gives her the opportunity to be elevated onto a certain platform, whether it's a facade or not, that it's irrelevant. As long as the necessary people who need to believe that it's real does, that's all that counts. I can see that she's doing a lot of soul searching, and she's definitely going through a process of financial recovery as well as spiritual recovery. We've got the 10 of Swords in reverse. So there's a fear of ruin. And I feel like those are some of the things that she's soul searching about. She's scared about maybe how the situation with Simon is going to have such a drastic backlash on her financial situation. So even though they have this great contract situation, allegedly, in my opinion, okay, allegedly, I have to start saying that now, even though they've got this nice contract in place. Sorry, my nose is tickling, guys. My guides are in their space, so my clairsentient ability is being activated. Chill out, guys. But they do want me to really be able to kind of like give you guys as much insight as possible. When you see me looking off into the distance, that's me picking up on some stuff in my third eye, you know, getting that projection nice and clear for you guys so I can, you know, interpret and translate for you guys. But anyways, I digress. Yeah, there's definitely a fear that even though she's going to be getting this financial windfall by basically being in a situation with Simon, there's also this fear that the situation is too big of an ask and there's going to be serious backlash for her. I want to say 3 months from now. So interestingly, hold that thought, guys. Let's stick a pin in it. We're at June now, so July, August, September. We want to see what she's going through in September particularly, because I see from what I'm hearing on the timeline, the third month, 3 months from now is where something is going to be occurring and taking place. So hang tight for that part of the reading, guys, even though we're struggling to get through this part because I'm talking so much. But the position that she's in is definitely sort of like feeling renewed financially and soul searching about whether or not it's worth it, whether or not it's a good situation for her to sort of like put herself in. And if so, in what way? I think, yeah, she's just kind of going with her inner guidance. And this is the thing about inner guidance, right? Demons are spirits too. And they also have access to our intuitive guidance system. So she's got to be very, very careful about the force that is leading her into these situations, because people will do some strange-ish for some change. Okay. What path is Porsha crossing during the next solar return transit that she's going to be going through this year? What path? Okay, so the path that she's crossing, interestingly enough, not surprising, but interesting. So we've got some swords energy here again. We've still got the 10 of swords in reverse, guys, at the bottom of the deck. I shit you not. So there's still a process of recovery that's taking place. We've got the King of Swords and the Two of Swords. So the path that she's actually crossing is, oh wow. So there are a lot of truths that are going to come to light, and there's a lot of, how can I put it, decisions that are going to have to be made based on these truths. What I'm seeing is that the things that she's been basically trying to turn a blind eye to, she's going to get clear perspective on that. She's going to get a rude awakening. And she's actually recovering. She's recovering. There's a lot of blocked emotions that she's pretty much just shut herself off from. She shut herself off from the connection to Fallon being a wife. How would she feel if this was Cordell years back? We don't know whether or not it would have been a Porsha or a Mike, because those were the allegations at the time, allegedly. Okay. If it was Cordell, like, how would she feel if he had moved on so quickly and with someone that she worked with nonetheless? So she's going to be in for a rude awakening. Daddy issues is going to be like a real peeling back of the layers here. What I'm hearing is basically like she's really going to understand, because she doesn't understand basically just how much her paternal wounds are affecting her decision-making process and her ability to basically make decisions based on the man that is going to be able to provide for her or give her a certain lifestyle, because dad, okay, if you know anything about Porsha's past, as far as her childhood, because they've discussed it a little bit on the show, her parents got divorced when she was young, and she would only basically spend the weekends with her dad. And even then, they didn't spend, I don't know if they did overnights, because she was really upset when her sister was speaking about the fact that her dad used to tuck her in. So this is a little girl that is lost internally, that is wounded internally, and she is looking for this paternal protector. It's showing up. It's showing up in the reflection as Simon in the outer world, who has the potential to be able to look after her, but he does need something from her as well, because she allows him to be able to build his status. She helps him, and again, this is the dynamic played out with dad as well. Let me explain it to you guys. Let's take it down now. Okay. Dad, as a divorcee, needed to be able to keep up appearances as a father nonetheless. So he wasn't successful at being a husband. The marriage didn't work out, but he had to basically show up as a father, and she was going to be the representation almost of that same sort of situation that's occurring right now with Simon. Okay, Simon is the provider. He is the protector. I don't know how he's protecting them. I don't know how he's protecting their public image, because he's just made himself look like a flat out asshole. But you know, some people are into that thing. You know, each to their own. Who am I to judge? Anyways, the path that she's really crossing is basically like realizing some of the decisions that she's made. There may be a sort of, I don't know that their father is alive. I don't believe he is. But there's some sort of karma that's going to be paid off during this cycle. That's what I'm getting from this. Yes, guys, I know you're probably thinking, what? King of Swords and Two of Swords, how's she getting that? This is what the guys are saying to me. She's going to have some really clear perspectives on what it is that she's doing and how she's making certain decisions. And there may be some counseling involved, I want to say. It feels like counseling is going to be necessary for them both as they're navigating through the process of what's going to unfold. So I think that that's going to be a necessary part of their assignment in their classroom. But we'll have to see. The cards don't look bad. There's just there's a process to this unfolding, this journey that's unfolding for Porsha. Okay. Yeah. She's calling a truce. The truth is coming out, and she feels like there's a lot of power that she may have, and again, that's down to her public recognition. She's got like, I think 6 million followers or something on Instagram. So she's pretty like heavy hitting with the fans. So that's what's driving the force of this ego that is kind of like pushing this carefree narrative, you know. It's just a facade. I want to tell you guys, it's like Porsha underneath, the Porsha that started Real Housewives of Atlanta years ago, I want to say 6 or 7 years ago now. She's having a completely different experience to the version of her that we're actually seeing on, you know, playing out. I can't even say on screen at the minute because it's not on. But yeah, let's go ahead. What's going on in the subconscious mind for Porsha as she navigates the next annual solar return? Okay, subconscious mind. I would tell y'all where that just landed, but hey, you know, we got to keep it PG in here. So we've got the Ace of Wands in reverse. So in the subconscious mind, interesting. Subconscious mind, she feels weighed down. She feels weighed down by the higher powers, by the powers that be. Maybe she, maybe she did this for a storyline. We already sort of like, everybody's already had that conversation. Outside of that, I'm going to assume that the powers that be is everybody that needs her to pretty much show up for something or do something, or just kind of someone. She's always being pushed about, basically. That's how I'm hearing it. She feels very weighed down due to delays that are taking place at the minute. Okay, so the divorce situation, interesting. So the divorce situation, we don't know how long the divorce situation is going to be. Okay, they're in the process of filing for a divorce, but obviously Porsha cannot get married to this man until they have gotten a divorce. And even though they got engaged after a month of dating, we're gonna pretend anyways, we're going to pretend as though that's the reality. But divorces take a while, and she's going to learn that. I don't know that they're going to be able to make it to the divorce, basically. I don't know that they're going to be able to make it to the point where the divorce has been filed. Not just filed, sorry, it's been processed and everything's kind of like wrapped up. There are delays that she is low-key frustrated about, which is why she's kind of in this place of being indecisive about certain situations. She puts on a good show. That's all I'd say to you guys. Porsha puts on a good show, because what I'm seeing is that she's trying to bide her time, basically, and wait out the divorce so that she could feel more comfortable in the relationship. Yeah. She's got so many thoughts kind of like racing through her mind. It's interesting. It's interesting tapping into her field, guys. Porsha's not as simple as you guys think. I'm going to say that much to you. Porsha's not as simple as you guys think. What's going on in her conscious mind as she navigates the next 365 days of her life with this solar return, solar return transit? Okay, let's have a little look. Okay, in her conscious mind, she's got a lot going on in the conscious mind. So she's got quite a few browsers open, but I guess that's due to the delays that she's experiencing with Mr. Simon. All right, guys, don't, you know, pay me any bother. I'm literally just making space on this small ass table to be able to get some insights here for you guys in terms of her conscious mind. Okay, so interesting. So now we've got the Tower in reverse. Oh no, upright, sorry. So this is, again, this is kind of like where the changes are actually taking place. This is in her conscious mind. She's pretty much aware of all the bloody chaos that's taking place in her life right now. What I can see is that for this particular transit, it seems as though she's kind of she's feeling restricted by communication. She's feeling restricted by certain actions that needs to take place. She's feeling restricted as well in terms of her ability to travel. How can I put it? So what I mean is she would like to be able to travel on her own, basically, because we've seen Porsha, she's turned up to all of the events, if you will, or majority of the events without her child. She would rather have her kid be babysat than actually like present, but that's not necessarily the dynamic for Simon, because that's how he shows the representative of him that he wants to kind of like put out here. In the conscious mind, I'm seeing that there's a lot of emotional insecurity that's kind of like taking place. There's a lack of compassion that is really like, her lack of compassion is basically coming back to bite her in the ass, because it's actually causing her a lot of insecurities due to, again, the delays and the lack of foresight and the obstacles to the long-term goals. Like, that's, she feels restricted in that aspect of things. What I'm also seeing is that in the conscious mind, it seems like she's definitely, you know, working through some, she's a deflector. We know that Porsha has a tendency to deflect. Like, it's her thing, you know. She should like trademark that whole fucking thing, because she's really good at it, might I add. But there are disasters taking place around her, and she's going to continue to feel insecure. Whether or not she projects that on the surface, that is to be seen. It's not something that we're going to be able to see. It's the shit that's going on behind closed doors, because the way that I'm seeing it, she's actually very insecure over Fallon. Very, very insecure over Fallon. Like, the way that they're kind of like showing me, like, now I'm getting behind their bedroom doors. So now I'm hearing the pillow talk conversations, or not so pillow talk conversations. And it's interesting because Porsha can see that Simon is still in love with Fallon. Simon's still in love with Fallon. And it's almost like she's in this competition thing. Like, Porsha is complete. Oh, wow, this is interesting, y'all. So Porsha has manifested this whole situation due to her unprocessed sibling rivalry. Oh my god, this is the shiznai. Okay, guys, so bear with me, guys. I'm sorry, I'm being told to just deliver the information, but sometimes the shit's juicy. So what's happening is that Porsha, if I talk to myself, guys, or it seems like I'm talking to myself, I'm talking to my guides. We're having telepathic communication. We are doing tarot here after all. Okay, I'm not crazy. It just looks that way to somebody who isn't tapped into the dimension of thought that I'm on at the minute. Okay, doing some channeling over here. Now back to it. The situation is playing out. It's the her and Lauren situation playing out. She actually has a lot of insecurities about her relationship with her sister and the kind of relationship that her sister had with her dad. And now she's got a lot of unresolved trauma from that. And she's going to be playing that out with Fallon, Simon. Oh, bless that poor little inner child. This is a whole grown 40-year-old woman that doesn't even realize that she's actually dealing with these issues. Somebody please call 911 and tell them that Porsha's adult self just got shut the fuck down by her inner child. Okay, because the decisions that she's making here is literally being led by unprocessed trauma. On the surface, she's making it seem like she's cool, calm, and collected, but beneath the surface, I'm telling y'all, the girl is hella insecure. She's, oh god, she's hella insecure that any minute Simon could leave her and go back to Fallon, because she feels like Fallon is who he really wants. He's with her, but that's just how she feels. She feels like Fallon may be who he really wants, just because there was a lot of unfinished business there. And for Simon, because he just jumped into the relationship with Porsha without taking any time to heal from that relationship. Shit, he didn't even finish getting a divorce before he actually got engaged to her ass. So he's brought all the karma of that relationship baggage over into this space, and they're going to have to work to unpack that. And that may be the issue for Porsha, why she's misrepresenting or misinterpreting certain things, taking everything personally, assuming, oh, like, are you still into her? Do you still think about her? All of these things. She doesn't say it outright. This is the thing, guys. Like, she doesn't say it outright. She more so gets agitated when things comes up. Fallon rubs her the wrong way, I'm telling y'all. Fallon rubs her ass the wrong way. Fallon makes her feel really insecure. And I'm not going to say I don't know why, because I do, but I don't, because technically, like, what did Fallon ever really do to her? But shit, this is a contract that they will have to kind of like play out with each other, right? So what can we do except sip some tea and watch the shit show unfold? Okay. On the next part of the itinerary, guys, we're going to go ahead and have a look and see the month-to-month scope, because I've been talking for far too long now. So we're going to go ahead and get into part 2 of all of this awesome stuff, guys. Okay? On that note, I'm going to let you guys take a minute and get yourselves together so we can get into part 2. Stay tuned, guys. Right, y'all, me again. So what we're going to do is chop it up. Let's go ahead and get straight into all of this juice and awesomeness and see what's actually sort of like coming for Porsha Williams, soon to be Guabadia, if she gets down the altar, that is, gets down the aisle, I should say, and meets him at the altar. I can see that there's definitely going to be a test of faith for her during this next transit. You know, I'm gonna say this. I don't know that Porsha loves Simon. I don't think she loved him either, can I just say, but she loved what he could do for her. And he was probably okay in bed, so she was like, okay, cool. I can work with this. That was pretty much it, really. But yeah, it seems as though she's scared of basically being pushed out in the cold and being left isolated and on her own, kind of like poor little Porsha did. This is going to be an interesting sort of like trip for her, guys. Let's put some prayer out for Porsha, because honestly, the inner demons that's manifesting these realities for her, yeah, she's a little bit lost in the distortion of it also. We're going to start with next month and see where Porsha is in July. Let's start there. Where do you see Porsha in July? July of 2021, guys. Where do you see Porsha Williams? Okay, Porsha Williams, my loves, is interesting. So we've got King of Wands and Knight of Wands energy here. So there's definitely some action that she is taking. In July, she's presenting herself as this visionary, as this leader, as this, I guess, entrepreneur. There we go. She's presenting herself as an entrepreneur, but her energy is scattered everywhere, and she's definitely all over the place. There's a lot of restrictions that's taking place, so that she can get a little bit more clarity on how to make the necessary sacrifices that needs to be taken. Yeah, it seems as though she's got a lot of internalized, I want to say, she's got a lot of internalized energy when it comes to certain action. There's things that she wants to do, but she knows that she can't actually come out and say certain things or do certain things. Yeah, so July is going to be an interesting one for her. King of Wands and Knight of Wands in reverse. That's an interesting transit. Definitely an interesting transit for her. We got the Hanged Man. Okay. Where do you see Porsha in August of 2021? As clearly as you can, Spirit. Where do you see Porsha Williams in August? So in August, Judgment in reverse. That is hardly surprising, because we already know that. So Porsha's inner child is the demons of her inner child that have been left on process, basically, and are just out here running rampant and affecting already potentially broken homes. We'll go there. Yeah. She is in a position where she's refusing to look at herself. She's refusing to take responsibility. She's refusing to take accountability for the way that she's actually showing up in the world, like in her universe. She's refusing to take accountability. And one of the things that I'm sort of like seeing with the situation is that there's a lot of self-doubt. Yeah, there's a lot of self-doubt. And she's refusing to acknowledge some of those doubts. The thing about giving people the benefit of your doubt is that you set yourself up for failure long term. I tell you something, when your doubt starts to get rattled and your doubt's like, look, get your ass out of here, okay? Like, your human is very, very intuitive. Your avatar knows exactly how to read the room. It's up to you to be able to act upon these impulses, okay? Or decide how to respond to certain impulses. Now, in Porsha's case, what I'm seeing is that she's really at a place where she's refusing to awaken to the truth. There's things in August that she's just refusing to awaken to the truth. She's refusing to look at herself and take accountability. She's also dealing with someone, as we know, that shares that very same reflection, because we know Simon doesn't really take accountability for anything. But yeah, August seems to be her just kind of focusing on her power and what she's getting from the situation and what she's creating, because again, she's still in this boss mode from that entrepreneur energy during July. Even though she's experiencing delays with certain business projects, she's experiencing delays with certain travel situations as well. Like incoming communication is a little bit sketchy on certain things that she needs to get done. So yeah, I don't know if I'm making sense here, guys, but she's just refusing to look at herself, and she's got the right match for that. We already know that. Where is Porsha in the month of September 2021, guys? Okay, so interesting. Okay, so she's got the Death card and the Hermit card in reverse. Okay, so this could be a few things. What I'm seeing is that this could be a transition of her coming out of her isolation, coming out of feeling lonely, coming out of, oh my God, this is September. This is where I told you guys there's something big coming 3 months from now. So there's a truth, because we've got King of Swords at the bottom of the deck, right? There's an intellectual power that is coming to communicate some sort of truth that is going to get her to a position of clear thinking. It's almost like she's going to be having this eureka moment, and she'll be kind of there's definitely like a new beginning that's taking place. There's a transformation that's taking place. In some cases, it may be death, like physical death. In other cases, it may be ego death. When we have sort of like ego deaths, it means that we get removed from situations regarding near and dear ones to us. It may be getting removed from a position of power. This could be very, very interesting. So, okay, let me sit with this, guys, because they're giving me so much for this, and it's interesting. She's going through a transition. Some sort of truth is coming out in September. Let's watch the space for that, guys. Let's watch the space for that in September. There's some sort of truth that's going to come out in September, and she is basically going to be forced to go through a transition. She's going to be forced to go through a transition. Where do you see Porsha in October of this year, Spirit? Where do you see Porsha? Okay. Okay, Porsha is interesting. So what's interesting, guys, is that August, September, and October, she's dealing with major arcana energy. So these are major sort of like karmic lessons for her to learn. The refusal to sort of look at herself taking place in August is definitely going to be coming to an end by September, because some shit is really going to come out. Guys, I don't know what this thing is. I'm getting emotional because I see Porsha breaking down. I feel her heart feeling overwhelmed. I feel her going through a lot of sadness. She's going through a lot of sadness. So September is going to be the month to watch for Porsha, because October, she goes into it feeling like the Knight of Cups in reverse. She goes into it feeling, I said this to you guys already in the initial reading, there's a lot of jealousy, there's a lot of insecurity. She's feeling moody based on her unrealistic expectations. You know, Simon's pretty much been feeding her lies on a lot of things. I don't know if it's some truth coming out about Simon that she didn't even know, that is basically going to leave her feeling like she's been had. But September's the month to watch so far, guys. That month seems very emotionally intense for her. In October, she's kind of at a place where she's dealing with the traumas that occur in September. Whatever truth comes up in September, she's navigating her way through it throughout October still, because it seems as though she's dealing with a lot of emotional volatility. There's a lot of emotional manipulation that's kind of taking place beneath the surface as well. And I feel like for Porsha, what I'm seeing is that there's a lack of long-term vision that is causing her to sort of like be moody. Yeah. Yeah, delays to the goals. So there may be some sort of situation coming out. I feel like I want to do an extended reading on this and actually go deeper into it for you guys, because we might be here a while. October, she's basically like feeling under the weather. I don't know how to explain it. I'm trying my best to find the words to articulate what's going on for her in October, but it seems like it's just emotional volatility. Things are all out of sorts. Emotionally, she's just not in a good place. And it starts from September. There's something, her ignorance between now and August is short-lived. September is where things start to really unravel for Porsha. Where is Porsha in November of 2021? Where do you see her? Okay, so she's got a couple of months of downtime, and then in November she'll be back up and running, guys. In November she'll have her strength back, she'll have her confidence back. She would have catered to the insecurities, she would have dealt with whatever truth came up and out, and she would be back into a place of knowing and identifying her power in the situation, and really being clear about how she wants to be able to control the narrative of the situation moving forward. There's still a lot of restrictions in terms of people being able to be compassionate towards her. Like, people don't give a shit, unfortunately. Whatever it is that she's going through between September and October, nobody gives two shits, right? I was going to drop the F-bomb there, but it wasn't warranted, okay? Nobody cares because of the way that she's kind of gone about situations. So she hasn't earned any compassion. She hasn't put anything in the compassion bank for her to be able to get that from the collective. But she seems to be strong and putting on a brave face and kind of like facing it like a champ. She's facing it like a champ. That's what I'm hearing. I'm gonna face it like a champ. I'm gonna take it. Okay. Where do we see Porsha at the end of the year? Okay, so before I go there, she gets this strength from her family sort of like coming together. Around about Thanksgiving period is where she'll start to feel as though she's getting back to being herself again. So that's why November looks like that for her, where she's kind of like clawing back her broken pieces together enough for her to be able to kind of just enjoy the festivities. Okay. Where is Porsha in December? Okay. Porsha in December is living in a place with the Two of Cups energy and the Nine of Wands. Okay, so to me, this is basically saying that they are at a place now where her relationship is definitely going to be kind of like going through its tests. They're going to kind of like learn about how resilient they are. It's interesting. I don't know if she's actually going to be ending the relationship with Simon in September and having to grieve in October and get back to a place of just a balanced place within herself. It's interesting. I want to clarify that. I'm sorry, guys. I'm going to go back to September and see. Can you guys clarify that for me? Clarify what's going on there for me, because I want to, I need the tea, y'all. Thank you. So, okay. We've got the Six of Swords in reverse for her. So basically, what I'm seeing is that she's not able to kind of like move forward. She feels stuck in the situation that she's in. So her and Simon are still together. Okay, that's what I wanted to clarify, guys, if they were going to make it. Okay, her and Simon are still together in September, but there's a lot of truth sort of coming up regarding the divorce proceedings around about that time that's going to significantly affect their relationship. It's going to impact them throughout the month of October as well, to the point that they're not able to plan accordingly. Thanksgiving, she's getting her shit together for putting on the play, as she does, because she's a dutiful caricature, because she is like a caricature in Simon's little universe. And it seems as though December, they're kind of like continuing this whole facade, basically. That's just the best way that I can put it. There's this whole facade of them sort of like coming together, their relationship kind of being able to stand the test of time, and they're figuring out how to basically like do the whole Christmas thing. It seems as though she's excited to be able to do this from this level of money for the first time, so she's looking forward to that. Nothing's gonna stand in her way of that. She likes a good party that makes her feel better about herself and her stupid decisions. So each to their own. Where is Porsha in January? Okay. So in January, she is the Hanged Man in January. Bloody hell. Okay, so another major arcana for her. And she's got the Sun in reverse. So starting January, she's dealing with some low-key depression underneath the surface. So she's dealing with a lack of success, things not necessarily going her way, it feeling as though, you know, things just aren't necessarily going to move. It feels like things just aren't moving anywhere. She's having to make a lot of sacrifices. And there's something or someone that she has to let go in January. And there's restrictions around that particular situation. So she could, again, just be dealing with her particular situation with Simon, where they are trying to navigate through the divorce, but there's still so much that has to unfold with that, and the divorce is actually causing her a little bit of depression beneath the surface. Yeah, it feels like there's like a lack of success. She feels like she's being casted out in the cold, and it feels as though, interestingly enough, so is this the month? Is this the month where he does it? Is this the month where he does it? I don't know, guys. This is going to be interesting. So things start to get tricky for Porsha and Simon in September, right? They try to work through it in October, get back to a better place in November. December, they put on a front and kind of like, you know, they're navigating through the test of life. But in January, it seems as though there is a heavy restriction that's taking place. That may potentially, I don't know if that's going to be the end of the relationship, but somebody's getting casted out. Yeah. Where's Porsha in February of 2022? Where do you see Porsha in February of 20? Okay, thank you, guys. So in February, she is kind of 5 of Wands energy. So she's avoiding any conflict. She's focused on her goals a little bit more. Her goals of becoming a wife. Her goals of basically the way that she's being seen in society. Her public image. Her belief systems and conforming to some of those belief systems, because I guess she kind of like sees that she's a little bit out of alignment with some of those things as she's been navigating through the depression that she's been going through. I think that there may be some sort of blip in their plans in January. September is where things get tricky. Again, just to reiterate, October, they're still trying to kind of like navigate through it. November, they get back to a steady place. And December, they're kind of somewhat in a partnership experience, but the strain of going through this divorce, which hasn't necessarily occurred just yet, is taking a big toll on their relationship. It's taking a massive toll on their relationship. February, it seems as though she's a little bit more focused on the goals, and she is potentially just kind of like focused on, maybe there's information that comes in about the divorce in January that starts to percolate her a little bit. Yeah. Where is she in March? Where is Porsha in March as she navigates this next solar return transit? Where do you guys see Porsha? Okay, so in March, she's taking on too much. In March, she is pretty much just avoiding responsibility for certain things, and because of her, you know, she's avoiding responsibility over here, but technically she still has to carry the weight of what that responsibility was. So she's getting the value of that responsibility from the universe, but it's just showing up in another way that she's willing to receive it for now. So even though she's avoiding responsibilities over here, she's actually taking on a lot of burdens over here. So how I'm seeing that is booked and busy. There's a lot of things that's turning around for her in terms of planning. So I think that they're going to start planning effectively the wedding, or maybe the wedding is in a process, because they can't start planning the wedding until this guy's actually gotten divorced. That's a fact. We know that already. But it seems as though in March, she may be kind of dealing with wedding plans. So maybe February is when they start to go with wedding plans. What are they focused on? Clarify the 5 of Wands energy. What are they focused on? What is she focused on? Sorry, Porsha. As far as the 5 of... Okay. She is literally... Okay. She's focused on pretty much just kind of... Okay, so this is more work situated stuff. This is more work oriented. She's focused on basically just making sure that things are going in the right way for her. There's still the likelihood that they may low-key be doing some wedding planning in February, guys. I think they're low-key doing wedding planning in February. Because March starts to get a little bit hectic for her, and she's taking on a lot of things that she's going to have a lot of decisions to make. She likes it somewhat, but it is still very stressful. So where do you see Porsha in that case in April? Where do you see Porsha in April? Let's see where where this madam is in April of 2022, guys. Where do you see Porsha in April of 2022 as she's navigating through this next solar return transit, her 40th cycle? Look at that. When I said her 40th cycle, look at all that shade, because they know technically it's her 40th cycle. Okay, so wish fulfillment. Okay, girl, you better go and wish yourself. So Porsha's having some wish fulfillment in April. She's got the Wheel of Fortune, she's got the Page of Wands, and she's got the Eight of Pentacles, all of them upright. So I low-key think that wedding plans start, or they're at least discussing the possibility of those wedding plans again, probably for the show. For not the next series that's kind of like coming on, or that's going to start filming, but the actual like wedding, because again, he can't get married until he's gotten divorced. So that may be for the 2022 season that they start to get prepared for that. But I can see that there is definitely some good vibes. She's in a good place, I guess, in April, and she seems to be creating, making a lot of decisions, exploring a lot of options, I guess, and she's enthusiastic about the process of that. I think that in April, Simon's divorce may actually be completed in April. I think Simon's divorce is going to be completed in April, guys. Jot these dates down, because we need to be able to come back and really observe, you know, how accurate the reading may have been for her. Okay, so it seems as though things are definitely picking up for Porsha in April. So where do you see Porsha in May of 2022? Where do you see her, guys? May of 2022. So in May, she's definitely being manipulative, abusive. Definitely, there's a lot of money sort of like coming up. There's a lot of debt. Oh, they're definitely going to start planning the wedding in April. I can see it. I can definitely see it. I feel like the wedding planning is definitely going to be able, there's a door that's open for the wedding planning to start in April. I think that the divorce is going to be finalized in April. And then in May, she's going to start planning their wedding. I'm surprised that they made it this far, y'all. In May, they're going to be planning their wedding. But there's a lot of insecurity beneath the surface that's still kind of like brewing. But Porsha's a good escapist. She's good at deflecting and drifting all over the place. So she'll be able to handle it. But I can see that there's a lot of abusive communication that's kind of like coming in around about May time as well. So there's some manipulation that can be a little bit abusive in terms of maybe mentally, or just in terms of the way that a person's communicating. Okay, let's close out the space now, guys. Damn, we've been here for an hour, y'all. Just kind of like chopping it up and diving into Porsha's business. Thank you guys for hanging in there with me, BTW. I don't know if I made entire sense to you guys, but this was very, very interesting for me. So let's close out the space. Where is Porsha in June? Okay, June of 2022. She is starting a new beginning, y'all. She is Page of Swords energy. She is that Page of Swords energy with the Fool. So again, another major arcana. It seems as though June and April are going to be significant for her. I want to say January, April, and June next year are going to be significant for her. Those are her major arcanas sort of taking place. Those are where her major transitions in life are going to be occurring for her and taking place. It seems as though, focusing on June now of 2021, she's definitely starting these new beginnings and being a little bit more spontaneous in the way that she's able to do things. Now it seems as though she's able to really be demanding and just really kind of being a little bit of a brat, I guess. Being a little bit of a brat in a good way. that little girl inside of her gets an opportunity to finally get one up on Lauren, her sister, which is sad because she doesn't realize that that's actually where she's playing out these patterns from, because she's not that connected to her circuit board, the circuit board of her psyche, unfortunately. But that's what I'm here for. You guys can let me know how the shit show actually unravels, because we've got a lot to take place for her. So for the rest of this year, the, I guess, months to watch out for her is August, September, October, and November. August, September, October, and November. So those 4 months are going to be instrumental for her. But September is really the month where things get a little bit and then they go a little bit in November. So we're going to put some prayers out there. You know, this is a fellow human being after all. This is a fellow being of divinity after all, even if it may not appear that way on surface. I mean, even the darkest of beings have at least a small fractal of light inside of them. And she's just an unevolved Cancerian, unfortunately, at the minute, navigating through a lot of emotional trauma that she hasn't actually processed. And it's basically overriding her ability to make adult decisions. And she's moving from the inner child default program of, some old coping mechanisms that may need to be upgraded, that may no longer be serving her. But hey, who are we to judge? It's her process. She signed the contract to be Porsha Williams. She gets the experience of Porsha Williams. Who are we to judge? She gets to earn the karma of what Porsha Williams creates for herself in this lifetime. That part. So on that note, my loves, I'm going to love you guys and leave it there for you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed the reading. I hope I didn't talk your ears off too much and you were able to kind of like stick with me throughout the entire process. If you do like my vibe and you want to be a part of the tribe, definitely be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell on your way out, guys. That way you can be kept in the know of when I do upload these awesome videos for you. Be sure to give the video a massive thumbs up if you felt like it resonated, and be sure to take notes, y'all, because we want to see how this Porsha situation unravels. Okay, my loves? On that note, I'm going to love you guys and leave it there for you guys. I will see you guys in the next video. Until then, my loves, mwah. Namaste. God bless. Take care, guys. Signing out. It's Porsha's party right here that I got all dressed up for. Semi. It was good. I hope you guys liked it as much as I did. Okay? Catch you guys in the next one. It's alright.
Things they said to hold her back, they never seem to leave her head and tend to keep her mind at war. All the things